Good morning, girls. In the last session, I show you how to develop servlet through three different ways, right? Today, we are going to start about session tracking approach. Let us begin with what is the meaning of session. First, we will discuss the meaning of session, right? When a user makes a page request to the server creates a temporary session to identify that particular user. So, when that same user goes to another page on the same site, the site can recognize that user easily. So here we can say that session is a temporary small unique connection between a server and the user or client, enabling it to identify that user across multiple page requests or visit to that site. The ability the ability to associate a request with a client that made the request is known as maintaining a session. There are four different ways to maintain a session, right? First method is URL rewriting, second is hidden form field method, third one is cookies, and fourth one is session API. There is still a big question that why session management is needed. So we know very well that more than hundreds of simultaneous users can be visiting website at a time, and if we can identify each of them separately, then it can provide a huge benefit to us, right? So here let me tell you about some of the uses of session management. You note down the points. First number is customization. We can allow visitors to customize their view of site, means as per their desire they can make the changes on the front page of their site, right? It is called customization. Each user can set different view of their on site. For example, memberorkut.com will allow you to change the theme, layout, color scheme, font styles, or whatever you want to set according to your choice. The second thing is security. We can allow access to our site according to the level of user, thus making sure that only some members get to special content on our site, right? Not all the content is shown to everyone, but instead of that we can show our some special content to some special members. Okay, after logging in we can identify members from known members by setting an attribute on the user session to some value, so no need to log in again and again. The third thing for maintaining a session is behavior of user. We can control the user behavior using session management. We can log user behavior, like how many ad views have been shown to the user. HTTP is a stateless protocol. It provides no built-in way for a server to recognize that a sequence of requests all originated from the same user. So robust web application need to interact back and forth with the user, remembering information about the user between requests. There are two important activities in a session management. Number one is tracking the identity of a user. As the user makes multiple requests to the same web application over a period of time, right? We need a mechanism that link this request together. Effectively, this means that we need to associate each request with a client identifier so that we can identify requests from the same user. It happens when one user accessing the same website multiple times. Then second is maintaining user state. Since there is often data associated with each request, we will need a way to associate the request data with the user that made the request, and a way to preserve the data across the request. So these are the basic requirement we need to do the session management, right? So the ability to associate a request with a client that made the request is known as maintaining a session. We will study all these techniques one by one. These techniques are used to maintain session in not only Java based application but any type of web application written in many other languages too, right? Out of this we will learn the first three. The most common approach is to use cookies. Let us begin with the first one, URL rewriting. Session management through URL rewriting. URL rewriting is based on the idea of inserting a unique ID generated by the server in each URL of the response from the server. That is, while generating the response to the first request, the server inserts this ID in each URL. When the client submits a request to one such URL, the browser sends this ID back to the server. The server can therefore identify the ID with all requests. Advantage of URL rewriting are user remain anonymous, means unknown, means the user do not know about this whole process, and they are universally supported. But the major disadvantage of this type is it is very tedious to rewrite all the URL, and it only works with dynamically created documents, not with the static, right? So in URL rewriting, a token is added at the end of the URL. The token consists of name or value pair separated by the equal sign. It will always work whether cookie is disabled or not, means it is browser independent, right? Whatever the browser the user is using, it doesn't depend on the type of browser, and extra form submission is not required for each page, but it will work only with links. Without link it cannot work, and it can send only textual information. Okay, so let us try to understand the first URL rewriting technique for session management through an example. I will show you the example in document first, and then we will implement practically as well. Okay, what is parameter? Let us see what is URL rewriting. Here you can see this hello, then question mark, ID equals to 123, user equals to Alex. Here hello is a URL, question mark, then after we can write the parameter 1, and if you want to send more than one parameter, you can separate these parameters by giving ampersand sign in between, right? First we will write the name of parameter, then we'll do equals to sign, and then parameter value. Similarly for the second parameter, repeat the same pattern. First we will write parameter name, then equals to symbol, and then parameter value. When the user clicks on the URL having parameters, the request goes to the web container with extra bit of information at the end of URL. The web container will fetch the extra part of the requested URL and use it for session management. Okay. In the next page, the get parameter method is used to get the parameter value at the server side. So how to use get parameter method? Let us understand through the example. Here first we will create our index.html as I have shown you in the first example. The name of action is validate, method is post. Here we will define name and password two text field in our HTML document, right? Here the input type is text and the name of this box is user. Similarly, second is password field. Input type equals to password, name equals to pass. We'll provide one submit button also. Input type equals to submit and value equals to submit, right? Hope you understand this code because it is a plain HTML code, nothing else. You learned it in the first semester, right? Now web XML file. The name of servlet is my servlet. That means we'll define our main class, public class, with this name my servlet. The name given to this class is validate. Okay, this name we described over here in the action. You can see the same name, validate. Whatever name you are enclosing between servlet name tag, that we will use as an action in index.html file. Okay, then the URL pattern for this class is slash validate. That's it. This is the coding of web XML file. Then here we are going to define more than one servlet in a single file, right? So we will provide the same tag for the second servlet also, exactly below the first servlet mapping. Here you can see this, the mapping of first servlet is over. The same code we will repeat in the same file exactly below this code. Okay, practically we will see this, so don't panic. Take another servlet. The name of this class is first. Servlet name is also first. URL pattern is also same, right? For executing this file, we'll use slash first. The name of welcome file list we will provide. Our welcome file is index.html, same as the first program. We want to start the execution of our servlet through this file. Okay, so this is the coding of our web XML, or you can say that the programming of deployment descriptor file. Now let us see the coding of myservlet.java file. Here we need to import three different packages: IO, servlet and servlet HTTP. Public class myservlet, which extends HTTP servlet, as I have told you in the previous session. Now onwards we will use only the HTTP servlet class for developing our servlet. So here you can see that I have extended HTTP servlet class, which is an inbuilt class in my current program. The method is doPost. You can see this in HTML file. We have used the post method. For that, here I have taken doPost method. Okay, it has two parameters, one of type HTTP servlet request and one of type HTTP servlet response. This method can throw two different types of exceptions: servlet exception and IO exception. Our content type is text.html. Now I want to get the value of user and password field, whose value is entered through our index.html, right? For that we will use get parameter method, as we have already studied in our Java subject. So here I will write string name, create one object of type string. We'll store the value of user field in this object. how we can get the value of user text box? For that we will use request dot get parameter method. Okay, similarly for the password field we will define a one object with name pass of type string. Again we will use the same method, get parameter method. We can get the value of password field through request dot get parameter method. Okay, these two are request parameters. These are defined in our HTML file. These two fields. Okay, if you are giving address field also, you can get it with the help of same technique. Okay, now if pass dot equals 1 2 3 4, if the value of password field is 1 2 3 4, whatever the user is entering in this text box will be assigned to our local object, right? And we are comparing the value of this object with the static value 1 2 3 4. Now if it is true, if the value is exactly equal to this one, then we want to send our request on the second page, right? For that we will write response dot send redirect. The name of second page is first question mark. Here we want to send the username on the second page, so we will write username equals to concat the value of this object by giving a plus sign, right? And then plus and bracket is over, or if condition is also over, servlet is also over. Now what is the coding of first servlet? For that develop your second page with name first.java. Again these three packages are required: import java.io.star, javax.servlet.star, and javax.servlet.http.star. Public class first extends HTTP servlet. As you know that the request is coming from first servlet, so you're not mention the type of request, so we'll use do get method protected by do get. Again it has two parameters, request and one of type response. It can also throw the same type of exception as thrown by do post method. The set content type method is text-less HTML method. Create one object of printWriter class out, and we will define a method response.getWriter because we want to write the content to the browser of client. Now string user equals to request.getParameter, as we have used the same method in the first servlet, but here the parameter, the value of this parameter user underscore name, which we have used in the first servlet over here, that value we will get in our first.java servlet, right? And stored into user object. Now I want to print the value of this variable in my current page. For that I will use out.println, then welcome is my static string plus the value whatever comes in user will be printed. Okay.